at the Lithgow Library site. There happens to be an old tree and an old stump that face Pleasant Street, which faces out toward the Unitarian Universalist Church, where Heidi also went. And we decided that that would be the ideal place for the tree. And Rich was in agreement. So they're going to cut down the tree and pull the stump, and Karen's going to tell the rest of the story.
Okay.
Is that okay?
All right. Yes. Our garden club is federated, and we have the National Club, which is in St. Louis, Missouri, and they set a standard going across the United States and a theme. This year, it's Plant America. So we can choose a number of things that we want to do in relation to this. And what we are doing is urban sequestration, which is we will plant a tree, and that tree will grow a memorial tree. And they're usually not cut down. They're allowed to grow in their natural way. By photosynthesis and transpiration, they take carbon dioxide out of the air, which is the greenhouse emissions, and they give off oxygen. The trees grow very healthy with that process, and the carbon goes into the ground. So we're serving a purpose in our urban community to take the CO2 out of the environment. Then it also shades. It provides a habitat for wildlife and birds. And what we are planting is a basswood, which is a linwood tree, which has large leaves. They're heart-shaped. It's a hardy tree, long-lasting, and it will grow in a pyramid shape, smaller at the top, full and round, and flatter at the bottom. It blossoms in June, and of course, that's an opportunity for our pollinators. So we have a multi-purpose plan going on. But we also want to memorialize our members who have passed, and one recently is Heidi Monroe. And Heidi was a member since 1996 and president in 2006, and had been a member for a long time in good standing with our club. She was an attendee at the Lithgow Library, belonged to a book club, was very involved with the senior program at UMA, and so we feel that and she lived not very far away from the library on Melville Street. She belonged to the Universalist Unitarian Church, which is just around the corner. So that place on Pleasant Street where that tree is now there that needs to come down will be a great place to plant a tree in memory of Heidi Monroe. So that's what we're looking to do, and we really appreciate you considering that. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you very much, Council and City Manager Mills. Thank you. Any questions?
Questions, councilors? Councilor Morris-Polly.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming down. Can you share with us any other memorial trees that the Kennebec Valley Garden Club may have planted?
Oh, I would love to. Thank you for that question. The first tree that we did was in Winthrop, a memorial tree with the help of the first graders at the Winthrop Elementary School. It was a learning experience for them about taking care of their environment, carbon sequestration, and then COVID hit, so we were not doing it for a couple of years. So then we planted one for the Barnes family at Coney High School, and if you are familiar with the Barnes family in Augusta, they're the ones that provided ice cream in the cafeterias and in the small markets around town. And Nancy Barnes was one of our members, and we planted it. She requested that in her will, her final arrangements, that we plant a tree in memory of her and all the Barnes family. A lot of them were involved in education through the years. So it's planted at Coney High School. We have a tree that we just recently planted in Gardner for Shirlene Goslin, and she was a teacher at the school and involved with the student council, so the student council helped us plant the tree. We have several others that we are planning to do, but we're really pleased with everybody's interest and enthusiasm about it. It's our little bit to contribute to our environment. Thank you.
Councilor Sinkowitz?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hi, Karen. Hi,
Hi.
Leslie. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for this, but also I've noticed around the city over the years, various places that have either been donated or made beautiful by the Kennebec Valley Garden Club. So just thank you for the work you're doing around our city and our greater Augusta area to make it beautiful, make it comfortable, and make it sustainable for a long time for everybody in this area. I appreciate your work.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. You're referring to the triangle garden that we do on the Rotary Circle? Yes, that's in our plans this year as well. And since this is the 250th anniversary of our country, we're doing it in red, white, and blue.
That'll be beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Others? Councilor Lynn?
Hi, Karen. Hi.
Hi.
So if anybody's interested in joining the Kennebec Valley Garden Club, who would they contact or how would they?
Ooh, they can contact any one of us. I'd be happy to give anybody any information, but we also have I think we have a Facebook? No?
I think we stopped that.
Oh, okay, see, I've been in it for 20 years, and she knows more than I do. But yes, we have literature available, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody, and anyone is welcome. We love having more. We have a very active club right now, and we're delighted about that. We meet at the Viles Mansion. Elsie Viles was a member for a long, long time, and she made it available to us to have our meetings there in her foundation arrangements. So we're very, very happy about that. We're very fortunate.
Thank you.
But yes, thank you.
Others? Well, Karen, I just want to acknowledge before you step down of your prior service as a city councilor here in Augusta, so welcome back to the chamber.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to serve this community, and I thank you all for doing that as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any other? Any other public comment on Order 26068 and the donation? All right, moving on next to old business orders and resolves. Next is 26060, which is the second reading of the city's appropriation resolve, and this is resolve reflects the amendments of April 30, 2026. Madam Clerk.
26-060, Mayor and Council, as amended on April 30, 2026. Be it resolved that there is hereby appropriated for the support of the departments of the City of Augusta for payment of county taxes for the bonded indebtedness of the city and for all other debts incurred by the city for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027, the sum of $91,791,276, of which a summary appears.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Lynn?
move to waive further reading of item 26060 with consent.
Is there any objection? All right, the motion is adopted by unanimous consent. If you happen to have picked up an agenda on your way and you notice that it's about, the resolve itself is about 3 pages long, so we're sparing the clerk from going through the whole thing. Before we take public comment on this, I want to make note of a couple of things. The appropriation resolve that you see in your agenda for tonight is accurate in all respects. There was an amendment that was passed at the first reading a week ago, which set the tax rate, the tax increase at 5%. When the manager was reciting numbers at that meeting and reciting or giving us the impact of the 5% figure, there were some incorrect figures that he recited, never made it into anything that was published. But those incorrect figures were picked up after discussions between the manager and the school department. So I want to just say on the record where those three changes are. So if anybody was paying attention or wrote down numbers from last week, so they won't wonder why they're different. The bottom line is nothing changed. The bottom line figures are the same. There were just some calculations that led to some different numbers. So in the second, be it further resolved paragraph, last week, the figure that the city manager used was $35,202,552. And you have your correct number of $35,282,947 in there tonight. The second figure that was corrected between meetings was in that same paragraph. The figure was $18,075,496, now corrected in this version to $18,459,642. Third and finally is the paragraph with respect to be it further resolved, the appropriation that refers to the state's essential programs and services allocation model. That figure was $3,754,839, corrected to reflect $3,654,839. Again, though the accurate figures are reflected in the order that appears and was published for tonight's agenda, we're attributing those to Scrivener errors. So, with that, I will invite public comment on 26060, the second reading of the city's appropriation resolve. Is there any public comment? Nash. Please let us know, give us your name and let us know where you're from.
Hi, my name is Nash Callahan. I'm an Augusta resident, live in Ward 4. I also own a business right in downtown Augusta, Maine. And I just have some thoughts on the budget I'd like to share with you guys. Good evening, councilors. Having watched the recent budget discussions, I've grown increasingly concerned about Augusta's financial outlook. If the doom and gloom that some councilors have suggested in the next coming years is that a budget is true, then the citizens deserve some answers on how we got here. Who decided on not reevaluating the tax base until the statutory limit? I would like to suggest that the charter be changed to do this on a regular basis, perhaps every 5 to 7 years. This would improve the accuracy of the tax basis's market value in the span of a relevant economy. The economy of 2006 is much different than in 2026. Smaller increases over time is much easier to bear than the one that is coming. I'd also like to question the impacts that having so many large developments sheltered in TIF districts we hear so much about. It's clear to me that the logical choice would be to get the full tax value from the development rather than waiting decades for it. A lot of these projects do create jobs, but most of them are entry level and pay low wages. They also usually immediately compete with other smaller local businesses. By having so many low-wage jobs being put into the city, I think this is reflected in the percentage of citizens the United Way would classify as Alice. Yes, TIFs are a sweet attraction to projects, but please stop handing them out like candy. Lastly, it's been fantastic to see so many students stand up for their rights and give you a lecture on what they need to succeed. I was once one of those kids. I started my civic engagement at that age, serving as a student representative on the school board the year that it was decided to close Hodgkins. That was another hard year of tough budget cuts, and they haven't stopped since. But how much cutting is worth the lives of our future citizens? My life would not be where it is had I not been for what I learned in the Augusta School Department and the things I was able to experience there. Augusta is my home. I love having my business here, and I hope to own a home here someday. But I need better. I want my tax dollars to be well spent. This process has been a bad sales pitch for the city. If the schools are bad and underfunded, our roads not paved, no public transportation, and a growing unhoused crisis with no clear answers, who will want to buy the houses if people sell them because they can't afford them? And how does this stimulate an economic growth that we so need? The pitch has been a death spiral. Thank you.
Thank you. Who'd like to be next?
I'm Gabrielle Barabee Pierce. I am a parent, a homeowner, a taxpayer, an attorney, and a very, very disappointed person this evening living in Augusta. I left this room last week heartbroken for an entire generation of children that this city has given up on. Last week, I heard this council lament the developmental and educational delays caused by the COVID-19 global pandemic. I heard last week that we've tried to help those children whose lives were disrupted by the pandemic. It just didn't work, so we're going to stop trying now. We're going to cut funding for their schools, eliminate their recreational programs, slash their library services. The municipal government version of telling these kids, my children, to rub some dirt in it and walk it off. What a deeply disappointing message to send to an entire generation that went through something none of you did in your youth. A global pandemic that upended our global economy, shredded our social fabric, and as we heard tonight, even disrupted the Garden Club's Memorial Tree program. My children live in a world very different from the one that I grew up in. It's scarier, it's meaner, and it's much more selfish than the world I grew up in the 1980s and 90s. When I was in elementary school, we took several parent-chaperoned field trips every year. My children, who are in second and fourth grade, have never been on a field trip. In middle school, I learned to play the cello through our school orchestra. You've just eviscerated their school music program. In high school, I took 4 years of French and 4 years of Latin, both of which have come in pretty handy as a practicing attorney in the state of Maine. My children will not have Latin when they get to Coney because the programs you cut will not bounce back. I've heard other parents of Mean say, my kids will be fine because I will pay to continue their enrichment, but I'm worried about their classmates. I'm here tonight to tell you that no, none of our kids will be all right in a city who has clearly voted to eliminate their future. That's what you're doing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Please.
Good morning. My name is Micah, and I'm an 8th grade student at Coney Middle School. First of all, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to everyone here. I can't imagine how hard it is to make such an impactful decision. I wrote this speech to say online, so if there are any continuity issues, that's why. Many of our parks might be losing the people who clean them. The budget for Lithgow Library might be cut, and we will not be able to swim in the lakes anymore if they cannot pay for the cleaning. On top of this, our school board is cutting the music department, a language or even two, and kids will have to pay $100 just to play a sport. My aunt, who works in special education, is losing her job at the end of the year. While the school board questions why our school needs 3 principals, just a few weeks ago there were at least 2 fights in one day, one of which I witnessed. Kids have to stand in line to receive suspensions, and they want to take away the only adults who have the patience to teach us. Many more teachers could and are losing their jobs and getting paid less than they already were, which is not a livable wage. They're cutting our mental health programs too, to improve our learning, but every student knows that that will only make it worse. These programs, the counselors, the social workers, and everyone else who cares, have saved kids' lives and will continue to. If we lose them, I'm worried not only will test scores drop, but also the lives of other children. Soon enough, you're all going to give the final say in what our budget will be. If we refuse to pay for schools, parks, libraries, etc., I'm scared for what will happen for the younger generation. I have 4 younger cousins, 2 of which live here in Maine with me, and a lot of my closest friends and family live in Augusta. Cutting the budget changes our entire lives and make the right decision that helps us. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to testify? Yes, in the back.
Good evening. My name is Emily Mullen. I am a resident here in Augusta. We moved into our house here actually 15 years ago today. My husband is on the Library Trustees Board. I'm on the Friends of Lithgow Library Board, and I have an 8-year-old who attends Lincoln Elementary. She's in 2nd grade. So I'm here tonight because it's very troubling to see the direction the city is going with the budget talks. I watched the meeting last week online, and there was a mention of Chateau Cushnock residents by a counselor as an example of people who can't afford a property tax increase at this time. I felt that that claim was misleading, as these constituents live in federally subsidized rental housing. They pay 30% of their household adjusted gross income for rent, and property taxes do not impact those people. The proposed cuts to the Lithgow Library budget will impact them, however, which I'll get to in a minute. There was a quote by Councillor Lind in the Kennebec Journal on April 29th, where he said, $10, $20, $30 matters to families. It really does. I'm worried about the impact long term. And yet, by approving this budget, you're saying it's okay to charge student athletes' families $100 to participate in athletics. It's okay to take away Augusta rec programs that make activities accessible to children of working families in Augusta. It's okay to cut education and community services. The value of what we stand to lose from the proposed cuts is much greater than what we'd be saving on property taxes. First, the school social workers and the clinician. These resources are not readily available to most families outside of school. To those who say school should be for learning and children should go elsewhere for their behavioral and mental health needs, this is not realistic in today's climate. In our area, behavioral health care for children is scarce and waiting lists are long. From personal experience, I can tell you that if a family has the means to pay out of pocket for these services in order to shorten the waiting time, they will need to travel far outside our community to access them. On any given day, children, yes, multiple, are waiting in the emergency department here in Augusta for multiple days to access behavioral health services. To those who have said that back in my day we didn't have these things in school and we turned out fine, I would question that, as it seems you are lacking basic empathy for your fellow Augusta residents. And to those who support these cuts now with the plan to revisit them in the future, please remember that the children impacted do not get a do-over. They don't get a redo if you decide the support is worth funding again later. Onto the library, they are currently expected to cut $123,000 from their budget. 10 years ago, the library's addition opened to the public. That project showed that Augusta values this community resource. The proposed budget would eliminate employees, reducing staffing levels back to where they were in the 1990s, when the library building was a third of the size it is today. The library currently has 9,500 members. Over 5,000 are adults who are Augusta residents, and 20% of those are 65 and older. These residents borrow books and audiobooks instead of buying them. They attend technology help sessions at the library, use library computers and printer, and attend educational and cultural programming. The library is much more than books. The Library of Things lends tangible items out for free, affording members the use of items they might not be able to purchase themselves. The Friends of Lithgow Library fund passes for members to borrow that allow them free entrance to museums, parks, and other attractions around the state. The library hosts programs for people of all ages, from infants to senior citizens. How can Augusta residents make the most of these resources if the library is understaffed? The proposed budget would force the library to close on Saturdays starting July 1st. It would also eliminate library outreach to 6 sites where they currently visit older adults who are homebound and unable to visit the library in person. One of these sites is Chateau Cushnock, whose residents the councilor expressed concerns about at last week's meeting. The proposed cuts to both the school and library budget. Part of living in a society and a community is hoping for things to be better for the generations that come after you, not leaving them to struggle with the bare minimum. I want the best for our community, and I'm willing to pay my fair share as a resident to make that happen. Please do the right thing and protect our resources by not approving the budget as it stands now. Thank you.
Thank you. Who'd like to go next?
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Miriam Kamar, a seventh grade student from Coney, and I'm here to voice my and a close friend's concern yet again on the budget cuts. Currently, many students, including myself, seem to be asking the same questions. Why must you take from our education? Social workers are critical to a student's education for various reasons that even the council members should know. And cutting them off will make things harder for them and us. Miss Moore teaches a dead language, and cutting this off will make the only opportunity that students have on Latin gone. And Miss Card teaches middle school band and helps students enjoy music, including myself. These things being cut make a school not a happy place for both students and staff. And just the idea of cutting computers is insane. And how must a student complete tests, do work, see their grade? A school in this era could not function without computers in a world where technology is a part of everything. Teachers, not just from Coney, are losing their jobs. And that is cutting a person's life. They cared for us and stood up for us, and now we stand up for them. Cutting these things will not make us a better school. It can and will harm a student's day-to-day education. Our future is in the school's hand, and it matters. These cuts can make a student not want to come to school. After-school activities such as sports are being made for money. Clubs like jazz band or art club, and these are some of the only things that students even come for. Let us understand that students had to be sat in front of a screen to learn, and yet that wasn't the proper education. And just a few years later, when we are finally able to recover and learn properly, you cut that oh my gosh, you cut that, and that will affect us again. We as children and students should not have to worry about this, but we are, and that is how bad it has gotten. Please reconsider your options. School can never function again at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mateo. I go to school and live in Augusta. I just wanted to say that, I've been here for the school, still in support of supporting the original school budget, but I'd also like to talk about the library and rec. When I was a little kid, for every year possible, I played rec soccer. It was a staple in my life. It's a place outside of school that you get to see your friends and you get to see people that maybe don't go to your school. And the library I use weekly to go and study. I took AP exams in this building this week, and I'll take them next week too. And I think those meeting rooms are essential to allowing a quiet place for people to study. And eliminating those on the weekends, to me, that's just for students. That's just so important. And another thing. Our National Honor Society also supports Chateau Cushnock in, allowing deliveries from the food bank to Chateau Cushnock weekly. And I just think it's a really important resource that they have, and they would have to find another way to figure that out. So I just really think that's another important thing to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mateo. Sure. Mr. Clary?
I'm William Clardy from the city of Augusta. I'm going to be speaking sort of on behalf of the folks who don't have an organized cohort coming here to advocate for them. And that's the folks who are paying a big chunk of that property tax bill. One thing I would like to point out, somebody said that today's world is a lot scarier than it was back in the 80s. Actually, I hate to disagree with you, but historically, you're way off base on that. I had already grown up by the time the 80s came around, but during the 80s, I spent my days basically being ready for World War III to break out in Europe. And you guys may or may not understand just how close we came to that back before the Soviet Union collapsed. So if you think that it's scary having two fights in school, try thinking what it would be like to watch atomic mushroom clouds blossoming all over the place. Now, as far as whether or not we were tougher or anything like that, I don't think we were tougher, but we were forced to become more resilient. And right now, a lot of us are the resilient ones who are doing a lot of the hard work for keeping businesses going, keeping bills paid, and yeah, we're going to be retiring in a few years. Right now, last night I found myself sitting there deciding how many years before I start collecting Social Security and how much of an impact that will have on my budget. But I do know within the last few years, my property tax bill has already gone up several $100s. You're wanting me to pay several $100s more. And my response is, I'm not cutting your music teacher. I am not cutting your Latin
Mr.
class.
Clarity, talk to us, not the.
Yeah. Okay, you guys are not the ones cutting the Latin class. You guys are not the ones cutting the music teacher. You guys are telling the school board and the school superintendent, this is your bottom line, pick your priorities, and stay within your budget. Because like the rest of us, we've only got so much money. And if you start drawing down what our savings are, then you're going to be putting yourself further and further in debt, which I guarantee you're not going to like the outcome on that. So I would appreciate you guys sticking to what you found and what you think is affordable for today's citizens, and let the school superintendent play his numbers games and figure out what his priorities are and where he wants to put the money so that the students and their parents get their money's worth in terms of a good education. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening. My name's Jennifer Green, and I live in Augusta. This is my mother, Laurel Stevens, who also lives in Augusta, over by Chateau Cushnock. She lives in her own home. She does all her own stuff. She's on Social Security, and it will affect her owning her own home and being able to live the rest of her life there. I'm all for the schools. I don't like to see the tax cuts to the schools, but what I haven't heard from a lot of the people is what's lacking to support the schools. Like, what ways can we do to give money back to the schools? What can we do positive? Not just give them back, but yet how can we raise those funds, or how can we better spend the money? So I just wanted to give a different face of what's going on here, the schools versus, and then homeowners who at one point might lose their homes and have to make hard decisions because they can't afford to pay the taxes, and then they have to find another place to live in Augusta. I'm also a business owner. My husband's a business owner in Augusta. My mother lives in the house that she grew up in. I built my house on Currington Avenue in Augusta. My brother lives in my parents' house that was on Murray Street. My cousins live in Pearl Street. That's my grandmother's house. So I have a lot of history, and I'm protective of it. I appreciate it. So just wanted to give some faces to the other side tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello again. I'm Katrina Reyes-Salas. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but Micah did, so I feel like I should. For those who don't know, Micah is my nibbling who lives at my house. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the reasons we live in Augusta. I think I've told this story once before here, but I'm going to do it again for those who missed it. I bought my house in Augusta largely because of the Lithgow Library. My spouse and I were debating between two houses, one here in Augusta and one in a very small town outside of Augusta that has a very small library that's only open 3 days a week. And with my work schedule, I literally never would have been able to go to that library. So it actually was, for me, not so much my spouse, but my argument was, we need the one in Augusta because I need the library. Micah moved into my house a year and a half ago now, after going through some really rough history. And their first week at school came home and said to me, I feel so welcome here. Everybody accepts me here. And it was a life-changing event for Micah to start attending this school, completely. Like, I can't even begin to express how life-changing. That is a different child today than moved into my house a year and a half ago, and it's largely because of Coney. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, in front, yep.
Good evening, members of the Augusta City Council. My name is Denali Hooper. I'm a current 8th grader at Coney Middle and High School here in Augusta, and I just wanted to talk on behalf of paying for sports. I know personally sports is the only reason I go to school, and whether it's $700 or $100, I know a lot of my friends don't really have the money to be paying that, and I'd hate to see all my friends, not only them but me, lose out on sports all because we have to pay for it. And I feel like we shouldn't have to pay for something that most students go to school for. Sports is the only reason I go to school. And I just don't really know where I'm going with this because I don't have anything to read off of. But I just think that we shouldn't have to pay for sports because I know my family, nor any of my friends' families, are really in the financial spot to have to pay for sports, especially with this economy. That's really all. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Yes.
Hello, City Council, and thank you for taking the time to hear from us again today. My name is Marissa Brennan, and I'm a homeowner in Augusta. When I purchased my home with my fiance a year and a half ago, we knew we'd be paying taxes. I grew up in Maine, so I was, I went to public school for a bit, and I was definitely supported by my community's taxes as well. And we knew these taxes would support the community we were excited to build here in Augusta. But now we're no longer certain that this community is one that we can actually grow into. As we look into the future, into having kids, I truly don't believe that we can afford these cuts. And I do think that it will take years to recover from the cuts. I don't think that it's going to bounce back next year. I think these are going to be long-lasting relationships we're ruining. So thank you, and I appreciate you listening to me.
Thank you very much. Yep. Behind you, Diane. And then, Diane, you'll be next. How's that?
Thank you, City Council. My name is Rita Pello. I live on Drew Street in Augusta. Sit on the board, of course, but I am here as a resident to speak. I think you all know my feelings on the importance of investing in our future, so I won't rehash what I've said before. But I do just want to paint a picture about eliminating Saturday hours for Lithgow. When I was a candidate, and I think a few of you have been candidates, I would assume all of you have been candidates for local elections, right? I moved to Augusta partly because I figured if it was a smaller community, I could actually get meaningfully involved and know my neighbors and fight for my neighbors when it came to. And with the library, when I was a candidate in the election, there was no organization. I think Augusta First disbanded. Sorry, excuse me, I'm waiting for Councilor Judkins to stop talking while I'm speaking, just so I can make sure he hears me. So thank you. So there was no, Augusta First had been disbanded. Basically, there was nobody that was willing to host a candidates forum. for civic engagement. So for folks to know if they wanted to vote for Counselor Lilly or Counselor Allen or Counselor Lind, they would hear what you had to say, they would film it. That there is no organization. CTV7 used to do these candidate videos, and they said, oh, we stopped doing that. And so the library picks up more, I think, than we even realize. Saturday mornings, I've been there for events and community events because I can't go during the day as a working person. I have seen like a mom and a son, I think he was in middle school, win a puzzle contest in like 40 minutes. Free engagement, free puzzles, free prizes, just community. I think the Mullins family might have been there too. And you just see people out, you actually greet them, as opposed to, which I appreciate everything our police does, but when I came to return a wallet, there was this black box wall, and I talked through a speaker and I didn't see the police officer. And I understand that's probably for security, but it's not the kind of community building that you get at the library. And those are the kinds of things that sustain people to live here. I live here mostly because I love our parks, like Bonnbrook Recreation. The job they do is an incredible job. Shout out to all the folks that work there. The libraries, the parks, the libraries, and all of the community and sports and band events for the schools. Those are the three most enriching things in my life: the library, the parks, and the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. You're next, Diane. Take a deep breath.
Good evening. My name is Ariana Silver, and I am a seventh grader at Coney Middle High School. And I believe that we should have security guards in our school because they not only keep the students safe, they keep anyone who walks into the school safe. I am also here to talk about the music department that we have in our school. I do both band and chorus. And you say they are just positions, but to us, they are not just positions. The teachers are what hold, are what hold it all together. So please give us our school back. Me, personally, I believe that a lot of students will start to leave the school and not want to come back. This is why we need your help. I feel pay to play sports is a really bad idea because a lot of the families do not have that kind of money. Students not only play sports to be active, it helps with mental health issues such as stress and anxiety. It helps the students gain teamwork and more. So please think of the kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, councilors. My name is Diane Doyen. I've been a resident here in Augusta since 1983. As someone else has previously mentioned, one of the big attractions for me was the wonderful library that we have. I've utilized it my entire life, growing up and then here in Augusta. Took my children, now my grandchildren. It's just a wonderful resource. I have the honor to serve now as the chair of the Board of Trustees for the Lithgow Library. At all of our meetings, we hear from the various departments in the library about all the people that they are serving. It's a remarkable resource for so many, as others have mentioned, from babies and children all the way up, elders. That's a source of entertainment, resources. The community programs and services that only the library provides is just fantastic. And I hope you all take into consideration that if you cut the library's budget, which has been proposed, as someone else mentioned, to 1990s levels, how are they going to provide all these resources and services for all of the citizens of Augusta? Those citizens overwhelmingly voted to increase the size of the library, and we have a wonderful facility. It offers so much, and if you cut the staff, those services will not be available for so many of them. So I ask you to think of these things and maybe put some of that money back in to maintain the services that Lithgow currently provides. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Carter Maville. I'm a senior at Coney High School. I don't mean to come up here and beat a dead horse, but I like to say that if the horse wouldn't like to be beaten, it should probably stop trying to get back up. I believe that the argument about who had it worse is somewhat null and void. I don't think it matters whose world was scarier to grow up in. I believe that in a world that is constantly and rapidly changing around us, it is important to keep in mind that fair is not always equal, and that the requirements for success, especially for students who are growing up in such a confusing world, change from generation to generation. I believe that it is the direct responsibility of those who have the ability to influence important decisions to keep in mind the futures of those who will hold positions of influence later on. And I hope that you keep that in mind this evening. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, in the back, yep.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Vintiner. I'm speaking this evening with my concerns about the budget cuts and what impact they will have on my daughter and many other students of Coney. She is a 7th grader and has thrived in her first year at Coney, receiving honors for her first and second quarters and high honors for her third quarter. She plays soccer and basketball, along with having to deal with a muscular dystrophy diagnosis of Charcot-Marie tooth disease. We didn't know if she would ever be able to play sports at all. Pay to play would jeopardize all of that again. Families are already struggling and living within their means. These budget cuts would cause them not to be able to live within those means, and also be able to pay for their children to play the sports that they love so much. The sports help them with anxiety, with stress. It helps them belong. It helps them communicate with their peers and become a team. She also is in band and decided to join chorus a few months ago. Then we both went to a jazz festival to support the Coney students and teachers. She was asked if she would like to learn to play the trombone and join the jazz band now that now that may all be taken away from her from next year. Music is her own therapy. We recently lost my son, her brother. And the social workers have been a huge impact in Ariana's return to school. After our huge loss, she struggles daily and needs the extra support. You say these are just positions? Well, to parents and teachers, they are what gets them through each day. Without the supports, children are going to fail. I don't mean academically. They're going to fail emotionally and socially. So I'm asking this evening for all of you to look at the big outcome. All of these budget cuts and put our children and their families first. Don't fail us or them. Do the right thing. I know I have mostly spoken to you about my daughter tonight, but so many Coney students are facing the same situations with all of these budget cuts. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and please do the right thing for our children and their families. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Cormac.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cormac. I live and work in Augusta. And yeah, thanks for listening. I wasn't originally going to speak. I know I spoke last week, and I appreciate your time, but I thought I could maybe add another perspective on things that might be helpful. Obviously, times are tough for everyone financially. I think that is something absolutely everyone agrees with. But I wanted to talk about the value of a dollar, because I think the value of a dollar changes depending on how you spend it. And if you spend it in the right way and in a more efficient way, it goes further. And some of the examples I want to say are, like, we've heard about the library. So like, if I go down to Barnes & Noble's, I can spend $20 and buy a book. And if the person next to me wants to buy the book, they'll spend $20, and the next person will spend $20. And if 10 of us want to do it, we're after paying $200. But if we together pooled our money into a library, one library could buy the one book for $20, and suddenly everyone, all 10 people get to read it for 20 instead of 200. It's not just the library, that applies to everything. If you have a bus service, you could save hundreds of thousands of dollars by cutting the bus. But then if you add up all the time lost, fuel costs, pollution of everybody who would have gone on a bus, going in a private vehicle, you've actually probably spent more money than you've saved by the cost of the bus. So it's actually getting more value out of your dollars to pool them together, to hire a bus driver, to hire a bus. I had one more example. In the country I grew up in, if you were a teenager and wanted to learn music, there wasn't what the public school music program that it sounds like is here. So basically, you had to pay for private music lessons. Whereas if you, again, can use your money more efficiently and have one teacher who can teach an entire class, then you can teach an entire class of people for the same price as you could get for one person. So I guess my point is, times are tough for everyone and budgets are tight, but we can get more out of our money by spending it more efficiently. And I think in the choice that we have, the way to do that is by pooling our money in our public services. I think our dollars go further together than individually. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you for your time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. How are we doing? Anyone else? Okay, yep. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Reika Gunasekara. I'm a senior at Coney High School, and I'm also a lifelong Augusta resident at this point. As someone who's had the privilege of growing up in a community that has supported so many experiences that have made me who I am today, I just wanted to express some of those experiences because many of them are pertinent to the budget cuts that are happening, as many of those services are ones that are being cut. I was participating in rec sports all throughout my youth. I played rec soccer. I was part of youth book clubs at our Lithgow Library, which really helped me for my love for reading, which helped me do academically how well I do today. I played in our local parks. I swam at Bicentennial, and of course, I was educated and raised in our Augusta schools, from Huzzy to Coney Middle School to Coney High School. And I also live in Ward 4. My mother is a homeowner, and she knows as well as anyone else how difficult it is to be able to pay for any necessities as we have today, especially property taxes, which are, and she knows that she will feel that next year, but she also agrees with me as well that the value of investing in our communities and the value of investing in those services will really pay back in ways that are more than just the monetary value that is the property tax. I think it's easy to see that, and I know property taxes are very difficult, finding money is very difficult for a lot of people today, but I do believe that keeping the property taxes lower isn't going to save money in the way that we initially think it is, because I think really what we're doing is we're just shouldering that burden onto somebody else, whether that be our students, whether that be our community as a general, when it comes to our libraries, when it comes to our parks, when it comes to so many of these services we see. So I know that there's going to have to be a compromise that we make eventually, but I really hope you guys consider making that compromise in a way that supports our services. So thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone else? I don't want to move on before we give everybody a chance who wants to speak. Haley?
We have somebody on Zoom that would like to speak.
Sure.
Her name is Brittany King. Just 1 second.
Hello?
Hi there.
Hi.
Can you see me or no? Probably not. No, most likely not. I'm a parent of several children within the school system. First and foremost, I'm really excited to see how our Patty, thanks. I'm really excited to see how our Coney children have advocated for themselves and really advocated for their school system and their educational plans. I've also heard from other taxpayers and their concerns, and I guess the issue that I'm kind of wanting to address at this point in time is perhaps it would be helpful if we were a little bit more transparent about where funds are going and exactly where funds are going. Sorry if that's. I'm not sure if that makes sense at all.
Your point about wondering where funds are going?
Yes, I am. I think if like the community was more aware of like exactly where the exact taxpayer funds are going for which specific programs within the Augusta School District, like how much money are we putting towards certain positions? What are we spending on administrative positions? What are we doing here? I'm sure that's available online, but however, making it easily accessible for those that may not be so privy to might be helpful. So we can make better decisions in our votes with this budget.
So what I would say about that is that both bodies, as the city and the school board, have both gone through extensive budget deliberations and discussions. All of that's been in public forums. We have several members of the school board here today, so that if you want more specificity about what they're doing and where their money's going, I would encourage you to contact them as well.
Yes, I'm aware of that. But however, those with lower socioeconomic positions and educational levels, they're not able to access that. And they're not able to access those individuals to kind of get that information. So how do we make that more available?
I don't know. We've never been more transparent and made information more available than we have this year. So I don't, there's also a responsibility on the part of the public to participate and seek out information as well. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Haley.
I believe we have another resident. 1 second. Unmuted. It's Krista. Krista Knowles. She's not muted. We just can't hear her. Krista, we'll move on and we'll come back to you in just 1 second. We have Christopher Clark. He'd like to speak.
Christopher, Christopher, are you there?
Yes, good evening, Council. I just want to start by saying, as somebody who's looking to try to move back into the city and buy a house, I'm actually looking at a couple places now. Property tax is a huge issue. Augusta does have a great school system and good people in it. These are hard choices that you guys are having to make. 6 years ago, we talked about a budget cliff, and it was brushed aside as we deal with it in a couple of years. Well, a couple of years has come, and unfortunately, it's time to deal with that. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. I appreciate what the school's trying to do. It's never easy when you have to talk about taking things away from children. But we need to come together as a community and look at how we can take this speed bump and turn it into a flat road and continue to grow as a city and overcome adversity as we've always done. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for all your hard work. Budget season sucks, but you guys are doing great things, and I have all the faith in the world that Augusta will come together and figure out a way to make all this work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doing a last call on Zoom. 1 second.
Is that Krista?
I think we're good to move on.
Okay. Anybody else here that wants to participate? Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, Russell Caverly, Augusta resident, and the Augusta School Department K-12 music coordinator. As I sat there listening to all of the testimony, I realized that maybe we all need a bright spot. So I, as much as I think you all know I would support the budget, I'm not sure at this point how much that helped, but I do want to let you all know that part of your budget is being spent next week on May 13th at 6 p.m. at the Coney Auditorium. We are having our band concert. And then on May 21st at 6 p.m., we're having our Coney Middle School and High School chorus concert. And June 1st, we'll be celebrating our jazz students at 6 p.m. These are likely the last concerts of this model. Whatever comes next, whatever the future looks like, though not dictated by this governing body, will be affected by the choices made in this room and made at the school board level. But we are excited to celebrate our students. And I just felt like, since we all appreciate seeing where our tax dollars are going and where our group rate goes, we all pay for these things, so we should all be there to enjoy it. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you. Others, before we move on? Okay. So, we've had our public comment with respect to the appropriation resolve. We go through the entire agenda, taking public comment, and then we come back to the top for council consideration of all these items. So next on our agenda is old business ordinances being read for the second time and a vote required. 26059, Madam Clerk.
26-059, Mayor and Council. Whereas the City Council desires to amend the city's existing lottery ordinance and provide additional provisions governing its applicability and enforcement. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Augusta that Section 207-19 of the City Code of the City of Augusta be hereby repealed and the following enacted in its place. Subsection 207-19, obstruction of public pathways. A, no person may obstruct the free passage of foot, vehicular, or other traffic over any public pathway in the city. B, any person who is observed to obstruct a public pathway and who, after receiving a lawful order from a law enforcement officer to cease or remove such obstruction and a reasonable opportunity to comply, fails or refuses to cease to obstruct or remove such obstruction, commits a civil violation punishable in accordance with Chapter 1, Article 3, General Penalty. C, for purposes of this section, A public pathway includes but is not limited to public pathways, public ways, sidewalks, crosswalks, median strips, trails, and any public property over which the public possesses a legal right of access or passage by foot or vehicle, as well as public entrances to buildings or businesses. B, a person shall be deemed to obstruct a public pathway if such person intentionally or unintentionally actually blocks, bars, delays, impedes, inhibits, or deters the free passage over or utilization of a public pathway by another person through either their personal conduct or physical action, or by locating, placing, erecting, or maintaining his or her body, personal property, or other physical objects in a manner that reduces the unobstructed width of a public pathway to less than 3 feet. C, a person may not be deemed to obstruct a public pathway by merely standing, sitting, or congregating thereon unless the conduct actually interferes with free passage.
All right, this order is intended to repeal our existing loitering ordinance and replace it with what was read here by the clerk tonight. Is there any public comment? All right, this is a second read tonight, so there will be a vote by the council on this tonight, presumably, and would also anticipate, when it comes back around for council action, anticipate an amendment that would make it become effective immediately, adding an emergency rider on it so that it doesn't take 30 days to go into effect, but we'll see if that happens. New business orders and resolves, 26061, Madam Clerk.
26-061, City Manager, Bureau of City Clerk. Be it ordered that the minutes of the City Council regular business meeting held April 2, 2026, the minutes of the City Council regular business meeting held April 16, 2026, City Council special business meeting held April 23, 2026, and the City Council special business meeting held April 30, 2026, submitted by the City Clerk's office, be hereby approved.
Thank you. Notice there are 4 sets of minutes that are up for approval. We've been busy lately. Any public comment? Again, when this item comes back around for council consideration, I anticipate an amendment to correct one of those sets of minutes, but we'll wait for that to happen when that comes back around. 26062, please.
26-062, City Manager, be it ordered that the cannabis dispensary license for 269 Western Ave, Augusta, Maine, CH LLC, DBA Cannabis Haven, located at 269 Western Avenue, be hereby approved.
All right, this application was the subject of a public hearing earlier in tonight's meeting, but now is another opportunity for public comment. Is there any? Hearing none, 26063, please.
26-063, Mayor and Council, be it ordered that Council Member Kevin Judkins and Development Services Director Matthew Nazar be hereby appointed as representatives of the City of Augusta to the Kennebec Valley Council of Government General Assembly.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, 26064, please.
26-064, City Manager, be it ordered that Madison Estabrook and Neela Parker each be hereby awarded $500 per the recommendations of the 2026 Edward Stam Scholarship Committee.
Is there any public comment? Congratulations to the 2 awardees, and thanks to the Scholarship Committee for their work. There's no further public comment. We'll move directly to 26065, please.
26-065, Mayor and Council, whereas the Mayor and City Council directed the establishment of a rebranding committee to undertake the development of a new municipal logo and comprehensive branding guidelines, and whereas the rebranding committee conducted a competitive request for proposals, RFP, process in accordance with the city procurement policies, and whereas following review of submitted proposals and interviews with selected firms, the rebranding committee recommends awarding the project to Portland Design Company for the development of a logo redesign, branding guidelines, and associated materials, including templates and design assets, in an amount not to exceed $21,025. And whereas this expenditure is consistent with the economic development purposes of existing tax increment financing TIF districts and may be appropriately funded from TIF revenues, now therefore be it ordered, the City Council of the City of Augusta hereby authorizes the city manager to execute a personal services agreement with Portland Design Company for the delivery of a logo redesign and branding guidelines in an amount not to exceed $21,025 to be funded from existing TIF resources.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? The city's undertaking a rebranding initiative to bring its logo and other outfacing materials to primarily become in compliance with ADA regulations. Is there any public comment? All right, next is 26066.
If it's okay with the council, I'm going to take over for the city
Please.
clerk. Certainly. So 26066, city manager. Be it ordered that the city manager be hereby authorized to list for sale the following police department surplus property: a 2020 Ford Interceptor SUV, another 2020 Ford Interceptor SUV, and a 2021 Ford Explorer SUV.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Moving next to 26067.
Order 26067, city manager. Be it ordered that the city manager is hereby authorized to list for auction the following police department recovered firearms, which have met
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Lynn.
I would move to waive further reading of item 26067 with consent.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is adopted by unanimous consent. What you're not hearing read out is a long list of different descriptions of various firearms that are proposed to be listed for auction. Is there any public comment? All right, hearing none. We've already moved 26068 up to the top of the agenda, which is where we'll be going next. Having moved 26068 to the top of the agenda, that's the next order of business.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Been moved by Councilor Lynn, seconded by Councilor Gary Allen. This is the authorization to accept a donation of a tree for planting at Lithgow Library. Is there a discussion? Hearing none, please vote by roll call.
Counselor Austin?
Yes.
Counselor Judkins?
Yes.
Counselor Mish?
Yes.
Counselor Lind?
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz?
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly?
Yes.
Counselor Lilly?
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. Next is 26060. This is the appropriation resolve for its second and final reading.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Been moved by Councilor Lynn,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Mishu. Discussion. Councilor Sinkowitz?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This has, as everyone has said, been a budget season for the books. I don't think this is a very common budget situation for the city of Augusta. I have thoroughly enjoyed hearing from our residents, as hard as it is to hear the different things that we're sitting with and we're holding the tension of. The city of Augusta has incredible residents, employees, the students here. We are a fortunate city in that way. I was tallying up, I take a note of everyone who speaks and kind of what they're talking about, and the people who have come to speak here, not counting all the emails and I'm sure in-person conversations that happen. 101 public comments were made about this budget. That is incredible. That is a high degree of engagement, and I am just very proud of my city. So thank you for that. I take this budget process really seriously. I think anyone who's watched our meetings knows how in depth I ask questions and engage with this. And I am sitting here tonight feeling as though in some ways this process may need reworking, because as much work as the school staff and the city staff do getting us ready for this point, we still wound up in this crunch in the last couple of weeks, and I don't think that's fair to our staff, to us as counselors, and especially not to the residents of Augusta. I would like to propose that in the future we start with an overview meeting as well, so that counselors, if there is a feeling of the group of where we're going to get to, just bottom line numbers, that all of our staff can have that in their heads as we're going through the discussions, so that the cuts can be out there and talked about for a longer amount of time, and there's not this feeling of pressure, because I don't believe we make our best decisions under this kind of pressure. I will, for the first time in my 4 years, not be voting to approve a budget tonight. I do not think this is our best foot forward. I do not think that our residents want this. From what we have heard overwhelmingly, our residents are saying this is not the right mix. This is not what we want to cut. This is not the level we want to cut. I don't hear our residents coming in and saying, raise my taxes to the ceiling. I hear our residents coming in and saying, we find a lot of value in these services. These are important services. They raise the quality of life in the city of Augusta. We get more out of them than we put into them in tax dollars. And I hear that our citizens are saying, I can't afford a lot. You know, everyone is saying we are squeezed tight, but these tax dollars give us more than we spend. And so I don't think we've got it right, and I will not be voting in favor of this budget tonight. I want to show our residents that we can go about this in good faith, hear that narrative that you've given us, and do some work. It would be messy, it would not be easy, it would have problems of its own, but my hope from tonight would be that we give this a little bit more time and that we go into the next season having learned some lessons along the way. I want to thank you all for the time that you've put into this, and I hope especially the students know that regardless of what happens, telling your story is helping to tell the story of Augusta, and hearing from students is incredibly important. So thank you for all the time you've put into this, and I hope that this is not the last time that we see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lynn?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we have talked a lot about the budget. We've argued and debated, and I don't really want to go down that road, but I want to make I made an observation tonight, and I want to express it. Gratitude to the students, and thank you to the students that came to speak. Our First Amendment allows a wide range of discussion, words that can be thrown, often hurtful, impolite, uncivil. And you've seen a little bit of an edginess tonight from some people, but I can say deeply and sincerely that I am completely impressed with the students. You were civil, often made more sense than some of the adults that came to speak to us. The ones that spoke impromptu did great, and I was completely grateful for that. So thank you. We try to be civil here in the city in our dealings with the public. And oftentimes the public can, not oftentimes, but sometimes the public can be a little uncivil. So I want to thank you. You set a great example for the adults before you and hopefully after you. Thank you.
Councilor Mishu?
Thank you. I concur with Councilor Lind. There was made reference to Chateau Cushnock. I want to apologize. I certainly maybe shouldn't have used that particular place as an example. I'll use a real-life example, and I said this last year when I was here. I was in Hannaford right about this time last year when an elderly lady came up to me and she says, "You're Mr. Michaud?" And I said, "Yes, I am." She says, I want to thank you. She says, "My husband passed away 2 years ago, and I raised my family, my son and my daughter in my home, and I'm really struggling to make ends meet. And thank you for looking out for me." And you know, what we heard here tonight and last Thursday was a large group of people advocating for their future. And trust me when I say this, this is my 7th budget, and by far it's been the hardest. And there's nobody that is sitting on this panel right now or sitting in this room that does not want to make sure, wants to make sure that every student in this city gets every opportunity to succeed. And again, it's been very difficult, but we have a responsibility to every citizen in Augusta, every taxpayer in Augusta, every student in Augusta. And this is the largest increase, percentage-wise and dollar-wise, since I've sat on this council at 5%. And I can't, as much as I'd like to, I am going to be voting in favor of the 5%. And I will echo some of what Councilor Sinkowitz said. We have 1 year for the municipality, the school, and the county to really look at things so we can live within our means. And I think that us as a council and the municipality, we look at as many avenues as we can to increase economic development in this city, to increase the tax base, and to possibly, if anything is lost, get it back here sooner than later. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other councilors? All right, I just want to say that it's been a very difficult year. And the councils, this is probably our 11th meeting on the budget this spring. And the school administrators and the city team have been working before we get the stuff, as well as the school department, their administrators, and have been working even longer than we have. So it's not for lack of time and consideration put into this budget decision. This body here, to my left and right, have a unique responsibility in this community. None of us have a special role to advocate for any particular department or bureau in the city of Augusta. We have a collective responsibility to be responsible to everybody in the city. And we have a lot to think about in doing that, not just a pet program or a pet department. We have to take into consideration the whole context of what's going on in the economy nationally, in the state, and locally. We have to take into consideration the revaluation that's coming along, which is lurking in the background, and it's going to impact each homeowner in the city of Augusta and business owner in the city of Augusta. Get a little frustrated from time to time I don't know whether it's a misunderstanding or just a talking point, but the city council doesn't tell the school board where to spend its money. We've heard a lot of testimony from students and parents about what their priorities are. I hope that the school board and the school department hears those same priorities, because we could, in theory, free up another $300,000 or $400,000, but there's no guarantee that any of those things that you've talked about here tonight would get funded by the school department, by the school board. So those decisions are theirs. I understand that we set the parameters. Everybody's being affected by this budget, not just the schools, but on the city side as well. Nobody gets out of this budget unscathed. Nevertheless, I think this body has taken its responsibility seriously. We've taken the public comment seriously, and we'll get through this. Is there any other discussion by the council? All right. Call for a vote. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Counselor Austin?
No.
Counselor Judkins?
Yes.
Counselor Mishu?
Yes.
Counselor Lind?
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen?
No.
Counselor Sinkowitz?
No.
Counselor Morris Polly?
Yes.
Counselor Lilly?
Yes.
Motion passes. 5 in favor, 3 opposed.
So the next, so on June 9th, the school budget validation vote will be held. So you'll have an opportunity to weigh in on that, those of you who are registered voters in the city of Augusta. All right, we're going to move on to old business. Ordinances being read for the second time. Vote required. 26059.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councilor Lind.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Second by Councilor Gary Allen.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Lind.
I move to amend Article 26059 to add the following after the first whereas. Whereas the city is currently experiencing a significant increase in instances of littering, loitering, and obstruction of free passage along its sidewalks and other public areas, which the city's existing loitering ordinance cannot adequately address. And whereas the obstruction of free passage over sidewalks and other public paths forces pedestrians into roadways and presents a significant risk to life and safety within the city of Augusta, constituting an emergency with the meaning of Article 2, Section 9 of the city charter, and to include the following language after as reads enacted in place to read to take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you. There's been a motion to amend. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, second.
It's been seconded by Councilor Gary Allen. Discussion on the motion to amend and motion to amend only. Councilor Lind, you want to speak to it?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. So we've seen an uptick in obstructing a lot of the pathways and some were loitering downtown. Our ordinances usually take 30 days to take effect, and by offering this amendment, this will take effect once we vote on it tonight, which will allow enactment of this ordinance.
Further discussion on the motion to amend? All right, hearing none, please vote on the motion to amend only. Roll call.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Right, the motion to amend carries to treat this reading as an emergency, and the effect of which would make this, if passed, effective immediately in the city of Augusta. Discussion on the main motion as amended. Councilor Sinkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank Counselor Austin and then Counselor Lind for the work that they did in bringing this forward. We talked before about the existing ordinance being unclear, difficult to enforce, and I think that this is an example of good governance in making this more applicable to the issues that we're having today. So thank you.
Further discussion. Councilor Lind.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank Councilor Austin for calling me in. He'd been working on this for a while. He asked me to take a look at it. We may share the first name, may look a little bit alike, but we do think quite differently, and we act quite differently. So although it's not obvious, there's a little diversity there is, and I think between the two of us, we put together a pretty good ordinance in short time. So thank you, Councilor Austin, and thank you to the staff.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? I don't hear any, so please vote. Roll call, please.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
All right, thank you. We move next to new business orders and resolves, 26061, which is the series of 4 sets of minutes.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, second.
It's been moved by Councilor Lind and seconded by Councilor Gary Allen.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Sinkowitz.
I move to amend the minutes of the meeting on April 30th. These minutes duplicate amendment number 1 for amendment number 2. I move to reflect the correct figures for amendment number 2.
Seconded.
Been moved by Councilor Sinkowitz and seconded by Councilor Lind. Discussion, do you want to elaborate or are you all set?
I can elaborate a little bit. There were two amendments made at the meeting that had to do with the appropriation resolve, and the way that they were printed in the minutes reflected some inaccurate figures. There was a duplication of the amendments instead of the two separate ones. So this just moves to correct these minutes so that they are available correctly for history.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion to amend. There's nothing further. Ask for a vote on the motion to amend only.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yep.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
All right, well, I'll invite council discussion of 26061 as amended. Is there anything further? And then please vote. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next up is 26062. This is the order that would approve a cannabis dispensary license for 269 Western Ave, Augusta, Maine.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
CHLLC. Moved by Councilor Lind
Second.
and seconded by Councilor Mishu. Discussion. There is none, so please vote.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next is 26063, which is the appointment of Councilor Judkins and Development Services Director Nazar as representatives of the city to the KV-COG General Assembly.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councilor Lind for passage.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Gary Allen. Discussion? Please vote.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Just checked with council. Even though I'm involved with this, there's no need for me to recuse myself, so the vote would be yes.
Counselor
Yes.
Mishu. Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
All right, 26064. This is the order that would award the prizes to Madison Estabrook and Neela Parker for their Edwards Dam scholarships.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councilor Lind,
Second.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
seconded by Councilor Jenkins. Discussion? Councilor Lind.
Master, thank you. Many of us grew up with the dam there. Some of us saw it taken down. I fished on both sides of it, and you know, you mentioned the fish migrating, the alewives by the millions are going up through there now. They're awesome to watch. So you did a really great job. You kind of went through it very quickly and concisely. So thank you, and congratulations on the scholarship.
Anything further? Without further ado, please vote.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Top of the next page, 26065, the order to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with Portland Design Co. for delivery of logo redesign and branding guidelines to be funded from TIF resources.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded.
Moved by Councilor Gary Allen, seconded by Councilor Lind. I'm sorry,
Morris Polly.
I wasn't watching.
It's the two last names thing. It's the two last names.
I stand corrected. Moved by Councilor Morris Polly. All right, discussion. Councilor Morris Polly.
Yes, thank you. As a council member on this committee, I am very happy to be working with a great subcommittee that we've put together. We've put a lot of work into it. We have been really, I think, entrusted with what we see as important work, both as kind of the first steps in working through a new economic footprint, as well as making sure that Augusta comes into guidelines with the ADA. As most of you are aware, economic development has been a focus point on the council during this budget meeting and this season. And so we hope that this is the start of a process that flows into a larger opportunity and that may help the situation that we're now in. So thank you very much for the opportunity to do this. Thank you.
Councilor Sinkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank Councilor Morris-Polly and the committee and Communications Director Haley Govin for this work. It was really well put together from start to finish, and I'm looking forward to the results.
Further discussion? All right, please vote.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris-Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next is 26066. This is the order authorizing for sale 3 different Ford SUVs from
Move for
the
passage, Mr.
Police
Mayor.
Department. Moved by Councilor Lynn for passage.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Gary Allen. Discussion. Please vote.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris-Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
26067 is the order to authorize listing for auction Police Department recovered firearms.
Move for passage, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councilor Lynn
Second, Mr. Mayor.
and seconded by Councilor Judkins. Discussion? Councilor Lynn.
If I could ask the city manager, where will these be auctioned?
It's actually a auctioneer site. Chief, do you have the name of the place?
Somerset Auctions, Fairfield.
Somerset Auctions in Fairfield. Thank you.
Thank you.
A new place.
Is there any further discussion? All right, I hear none, so please vote.
Counselor Austin.
Yes.
Counselor Judkins.
Yes.
Counselor Mishu.
Yes.
Counselor Lind.
Yes.
Counselor Gary Allen.
Yes.
Counselor Sinkowitz.
Yes.
Counselor Morris-Polly.
Yes.
Counselor Lilly.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
All right, we've arrived at the portion of our agenda called communications. First, I'll ask for any committee reports. There are none. Is there a city manager's report?
Real quick, Your Honor, I've been asked by a Public Works Director to announce that on Saturday, May 16th, the bulky waste starts at that time at Hatch Hill Waste Facility. You can pre-register at Augusta Public Works by phone or information at our city website.
Very good. Are there any announcements? Councilor Mishu.
I want to echo what Councilor Lynn said. I kudos to the students that stayed here till the end of the meeting. The adults went home. Good for you. I also want to take this time to wish every mother a very happy Mother's Day on Sunday. I hope that your families spoil you and make that day as good as possible. And on Saturday, there will be a large community yard sale being held at Angles on 810 Riverside Drive.
841.
841. That'll be from 9 to 2. Thank you very much.
Additional announcements? Councilor Judkins.
On May 16th, there will be a sports auction for kids. The Capital Area Recreation Association, who takes care of all the sports fields over on the Piggery Road, the softball and baseball and lacrosse, soccer, horseshoe pits over there, lots of stuff going on. It's a volunteer organization. It's a nonprofit organization. Does not have much for revenue, but it does really big things for the kids of Augusta, really big things. This is one of the things that they do that's a major fundraiser for them. It's an auction. There's all kinds of stuff in there. And the big one this year is a camp, a week at a camp out on Sheepscott Lake, and the camp is absolutely gorgeous. But there's just so much other stuff in there. There's landscaping services and oil and art and sports memorabilia. And just the list goes on and on and on and on. So you can attend online. You can also go to the Civic Center on May 16th at 5 p.m. Doors open, and bid away. Support Cara because it supports us. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional announcements? Haley? Thank you. Councilor Lilly?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you to the city staff for helping me get connected remotely tonight as I was traveling. Also wanted to thank the mayor and the rest of the city council, and also to our clerk as we had to do our roll calls for voting tonight. I appreciate that and allowing me to participate in tonight's meeting. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you for making a point to join us, even if it's remotely. Appreciate your participation. Kelly?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just so everybody knows, absentee voting begins Monday, May 11th, and it will run through Thursday, June 4th, and that will be right at the city clerk's office. That will be for the state primary, the special candidate for the Board of Education at large, and the school budget. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
And all voting will be conducted at the Augusta Civic Center in June.
Yes, on June 9th, all voting will be at the Civic Center.
Thank you. Councilor Garyon?
What time does the clerk's office open on Monday?
Glad you asked. Monday, it'd be 7:15 to 5:30. We're open Monday through Thursday.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Anything else by way of announcements? All right. If there's nothing else, we stand adjourned.